Okay, this reading is the question is, why did they walk away? So this is going to be the situation between you two in the relationship. This is the person that walked away. This is you. Okay. First of all, this is not a casual relationship, so it's not your reading if you're looking to see why somebody you dated for a short period of time ghosted you or something like that. So this is a long-term relationship. The relationship had a lot of conflict. It does have, right in the center here, we have the devil card, which can symbolize a karmic connection, meaning it is a connection that is meant to teach you something about yourself, but is not meant to be for the long term. It can also mean that there is some kind of addiction or some kind of unbalanced energy. In this situation, it is possible that one way that this could be read is that somebody in the situation is a workaholic or does not have a good work-life balance. And there's a lot of argument about that specifically. This is a very specific situation, and this is only one way to read the cards. So there is a situation where somebody doesn't have you. When I say somebody, I mean you. You don't have a good work-life balance, and there was a lot of argument about that, about spending too much on your job. But that is only one way to read this. For the most people in this, there is some kind of major conflict in the connection. But karmic relationships in general are going to have a lot of conflict. This can also identify some kind of addiction. So somebody could be not wanting to look at their addiction here. And so the other person is kind of like, bringing it up a lot or wanting them to look at it, and they don't want to look at it. That's another way to read this. And that could be with either person. The cards can be in reverse, by the way, as I read them out. It's just in this particular situation, this is definitely the person probably that walked away from this person. So anyway, there is some kind of conflict. There is an ego clash. Somebody is wanting to hold on. Somebody wants to go. There's a little bit of a push-pull dynamic in the relationship as well. And so that is being felt. So let's look at this person that walked away. Basically, in a nutshell, they felt trapped. They felt like they needed to leave the relationship because they were constantly having to defend themselves. So there could be a situation where if this person, let's say, does have an addiction issue that they weren't ready to tackle, they were tired of defending themselves about it. That's one way to read these cards. They could have been tired of defending. Like, let's say that this person is the person that works too much. They were tired of, they were feeling like they were constantly having to defend themselves. They were feeling like trapped, an oppressed feeling. Sometimes that can come when the other person has a lot of control issues. So we're going to get into you in a second, because there is some indication of some control issues here. Basically, so this card right here in a relationship reading like this can mean that they needed to tend their own garden. They needed to take care of themselves. They were stressed out. There was too much arguing. This means that they wanted to leave in a hurry, pretty much. And this can definitely be your reading if you felt like this person left in a hurry, or left without saying goodbye, or even ghosted you, or something like that. Then this can definitely be your reading. The reason they did that, they may not have the best communication skills either. Maybe they don't like conflict. That can be so they have some deeper issues that are going on as to why they felt trapped, and that could be communication issues. So let's say that they aren't very good at dealing with conflict. They've trapped themselves because they didn't speak up for themselves. But they felt like a caged tiger that just like had to get out of the situation, and they got out in a hurry. So if somebody left you, they left in a hurry, they ghosted you, or it was all of a sudden, it was shocking, or if it was anything like that, this could definitely be a reading. So let's get into what's going on with you. So you've got this card here, which can be a codependent. This can also mean codependency. So you've got a karmic relationship. Okay, you've got attachment here. So you're a very charismatic person. You're a very passionate person. You're passionate about this relationship. But you also tend to kind of be in control or take control. You're a planner type of person. So you were looking at this relationship in long terms and you were wanting to make it work. You were trying to avoid. So basically you're trying to make a situation work that wasn't meant to work. And you were trying really, really hard. You were putting in a lot of effort. And you feel like all of the effort was on your part. And so if you are a workaholic, for example, you could feel like you were supporting the relationship financially and you were putting in all this work and they weren't putting in their share. You can also feel like that just in energy. Let's just say that you felt like you were putting in 120% of the work to run the relationship and they weren't doing enough. Well, if you are in that kind of feeling, you're going to nag a lot because you're going to look at the other person as lacking. And you're going to look at the other person like, hey, I'm doing all the work over here. You know, get off your ass. Okay, so there is a little bit of that energy going on. You didn't feel appreciated probably. There's some energy here where you felt like maybe you were taken for granted. But okay, so at the bottom of all this is there's an attachment or a codependency to a relationship that you weren't meant to be in the first place. And so why were you doing all this work? Why were you working so hard? It was because you were trying to avoid the inevitable heartache that's going to come because the relationship you can have, sometimes you're just not compatible and you're trying to fit a circle into a square hole. And you, no matter how hard you try, you can't get the circle to fit into the square hole. It's a square. So you're trying to push a situation that's not meant to be into something that's meant to be. That's what's going on. And you're doing that because you don't want to admit failure. You don't want to say that it didn't work or that like somehow it reflects back on you. Like if this doesn't work, then I'm not good at relationships. Kind of like that energy. So that's what the lesson is teaching you here. Okay. So the lesson that's come from your karmic connection. Okay. The lesson here is that rejection is protection. Rejection is protection. They walked away from you and there's something better out there for you that is another circle. This situation, you've got a circle trying to go into a square. And it's right for them to protect themselves and run away in this situation as well. Okay. So because they need to find another square, or they need to find, a garden where their square is fit and nourished and there was a lot of conflict because of some kind of whatever this conflict is about. It makes this relationship unworkable. So both of you guys need to tend your own gardens and realize that you're not supposed to be together, and realize that that's okay. It's not a failure on your part because the relationship didn't work. It's just sometimes things don't work. It's just sometimes people aren't actually meant to be together. Sometimes people are together because they're meant to show you that loss is a part of life. You want to avoid the pain of the breakup. You want to avoid the pain of loss and of the rejection. But sometimes things are meant to show you that rejection is a part of life. You could have a deep wound from childhood where you were rejected and it was very painful and you weren't able to handle that because you were a kid. So this is an opportunity for you now to have that same feeling come up, that feeling of rejection, and it comes back up for you, and it's an opportunity for you now to be able to fully digest that, to be able to fully let go of the pain of the rejection from childhood, because you can use your grown-up body in your brain maturity to completely be able to tackle that old wound. And that could be the whole reason why this person came into your life in the first place. So karmic connections, they come into your life for a reason that's not pleasant. They come into your life for a reason for you to tackle something from your past that is an old wound that needs to come up to the surface so that you can see it, so that you can finally transmute it, so that it can finally heal. Remember that rejection is protection, okay? Hope you liked your reading.